I'm Karren.
I'm Thomas.
Good morning. Welcome to the Chill Spot. I'm Karren, and this is Drake. And today we're going to be talking about, actually answering some questions that some of our viewers have had. Not on the show, but actually some of our different Facebook pages we've been following.
Yes, before we get too much farther, I want to remind you to subscribe to the CNA-TV YouTube channel. And there's going to be a bell-looking notification, and you're going to click on that bell so you get notified every time that a segment gets posted. Subscribe and like. It's kind of the same thing. You can like every video, subscribe, get notifications.
Yeah,
Back
and
to
leave
you.
us a comment. Let us know
comment.
how we're doing. Okay. So the first question is, can I get fired from calling in?
So, every company is going to have a different policy on call-ins. That's going to be, so the question cannot be answered specifically to your center, whoever may have asked this question. What you're going to want to do is look at your company's attendance policy. For excessive call-ins, I'm going to say 99.9% of companies are going to have a policy where you are going to be terminated for excessive call-ins. There are a few caveats in there. If you're calling in and it's excused, if your company has an excused and unexcused policy, again, per company. If it's excused with the doctor's note, let's say,
Right.
then that's going to be different. Another thing I see companies do, if you call in 4 days in a row, that's counted as one occurrence. So I can't say yes or no whether a person would get fired from calling in. I would say be knowledgeable on your company's call-in policy. For sure. And then look at call-ins from all aspects. I would touch there a little bit. Because some people, I should say, look at company policies as unfair. Mm-hmm. They're there for a reason, and a lot of times they're not enforced because of staffing issues, which that's horrible, and they should always be enforced because ultimately the call-in policy is there for the well-being of your resident. When you're calling in, your coworker's suffering, and so is the resident. Every resident that you were supposed to care for that day. So think from every angle when you go to call in. So there definitely are laws out there that are going to protect you if you are, in fact, ill. But there are policies out there that are going to protect your company so they're not retaining a position for someone that is continuously being a habitual caller-inner, as we'd say.
Right. So the second question is, what if I have a doctor's note?
So, with or without a doctor's note, it's going to vary.
Right.
At some companies, sometimes a call-in is just a call-in. They're not looking at doctor's notes, and here's why. I can get on the phone, and not me personally, I've seen it, and call a doctor and say, hey, can you write me an excuse for work tomorrow? So doctors' excuses are not as valid as they once were. And I think companies caught on to that. For the most part, if you're sick and you have a doctor's excuse, you're going to be safe. To an extent, I would say.
Right.
Some places don't ask for a doctor's excuse. You know, they're just going to take your word for it. Some places will ask for a doctor's excuse. But those places that are asking for them, they're just asking for them for your file, mainly. That's why they want them. But they need to track as well. If you get a doctor's excuse every payday Friday, that's a pattern, and we're going to notice. Right. And it's going to start being an issue. On your doctor's excuse, what they're typically looking for is your name, your doctor's signature, the date that you were seen, and the date that you were released back to work. If you do have a doctor's excuse, a doctor's note, you always want to ensure that the doctor releases you back to work.
Right.
Karren is off work. Karren was seen in our office on said date, and she is off work until she was seen in our office on said date and is excused from work. If there's no return date, it is a liability for the company to let you come back. So then out of your pocket, you're going to be paying to go see your doctor again and get the release. So just in one time, you need your name, the date you were seen, the date you can go back to work, and your doctor's signature. The date you can go back to work, they also need to know, are there any work restrictions? And if there are work restrictions and you were not injured, let's say, or there was no occurrence in the company's physical location, a lot of places will not let you come back on work restriction. That did not happen there because, again, it's liability.
Right, right. I agree with all those. And if you are calling in regarding to a family member and you're going to be missing a lot of days and stuff, you can also go to your DON or your administrator and take FMLA.
Yeah,
if
that's
you
something you would want to talk to HR about that if you qualified for that and there's a prolonged illness that you are dealing with personally or one of your immediate family members is. FMLA, Family Medical Leave Act, is something you could talk to your building about. The good thing about that is you're not requiring your company every day to look for someone to cover you. You know, if you're looking at a longer period of time, they can plan accordingly, so therefore the residents can get taken care of.
Right. And the only thing, so I hope that answered your question, but the other thing I like to comment on, if you're too sick to come into work, don't be seen out running around in the community or on Facebook taking pictures or all that stuff. You know, that's going to be one reason why, you know, your supervisor or your DON is going to be looking at all of your sick days. You know, are they really sick?
And there is some people say I need to take a mental health day. I'm all for it. My employees used to come to me in the building and that, you know, if we were going through some times we had some staffing issues and they were there a lot. Thank you to all of them. Hey, Drake, I need a mental health day. This is really getting to me. I'd rather work with you to give you that one day than to say no and you end up calling in for 4. Communication. Go talk to your supervisor, your next person in your chain of command. If it's not a physical sickness and it's just you need some mental time away, you know, talk to them, communicate, and let them know. 99.9% of the time, I just use that again, they are going to work with you because your mental health is important. They want you to be able to perform the best care you can for the residents. And if you're not 100% there, you can't do that. So communicate if you're just feeling overwhelmed. But don't just think that they don't care, so I'm just going to go ahead and call in. It doesn't work like that.
Right. So we hope that these questions answered, you know, to the best of our ability, and hopefully, you know, it kind of eased your mind a little bit about calling in, or if you plan on calling in.
No premeditated call-ins, please.
Right. So, you know, keep posting those questions, and we'll keep trying to pick them up as much as possible.
For sure.
So until then, stay healthy and keep down on those call-ins. See you soon.